Thank you for being here for the next installment in the 5-day Amazon Ad Profit Challenge, sponsored by Amazon Ad School. Today's video is going to be a ton of fun. We're going to talk about automatic targeted ads. We're going to talk about how to edit your copywriting in order to get your hook even stronger. And we've got a lot of tips and tricks along the way. So I'm not going to hold you up any longer. Jump right on into today's video.
Let's dive into video number 2 of the Amazon Ad Profit Challenge. We're talking about auto-targeted ads, editing hooks for length and meaning, and we're going to talk about thinking about your future. Now, the proof really comes when you have a little bit of patience. Now, I know that just making it through each day's video and ads can seem next to impossible at times, but those who keep going through this week and beyond have had really great results, and I wanted to share some with you. Susan Jennings went from less than $10 most months to over $200 over about 60 days. So it took a couple months, but she was able to go from nearly zero, 2 figures, to the $200 mark. Tracy Hilton started at less than $500 per month on most months and has increased her royalties by $500 a month each month. So that $500 a month in addition each month for 5 months straight. It didn't all happen at once. It happened over the course of 5 months, and she's currently at $3,000 a month in royalties. And then Scott Gilbert and his writing partner started at $200 per month, and over the course of 8+ months reached $7,200. And I heard recently they were on the edge of a 5-figure month. But that took 8 months. So I know that a lot of folks out there have said, where is my note that this is working? How can I tell that this is working after a day, after 2? This beginning part does feel like the most difficult, but if you can stand the test of time like Susan, Tracy, and Scott did, you will start to see that patience pay off in a big way. Part of the perseverance, part of not giving up, because if you give up now, you're not going to get to that 2-month, 5-month, 6-month mark, is trying to not let the little things get you too frustrated or stuck to continue. The reason we brought over 30 support team members into the Facebook group this challenge is so that you can ask as many questions as you need to and get good answers that are going to help you through your struggles. You can also drop by the Facebook group for my live Q&A sessions or the webinar. The Q&A sessions are at 3 p.m. Eastern each day of a new video. The webinar is on Tuesday, July 21st. Pose your problems. Get the solutions you need. There's no reason to do this in a vacuum. Now, it is okay if you run into a thing, an ad type, a keyword gathering method that you just don't get and you don't want to get. You can come back to it later. Skip it. I do this all the time. I skip over parts that I don't quite understand so that I can come back later and do them more effectively. But I do recommend that whether you skip something, whether you scream into a pillow, it is very essential for you to keep your momentum going. So please read and watch the videos, even if you need to take a day off. Do the homework. The videos will be up for free through July 27th. So what should be happening now? You might be wondering, how am I supposed to know if my ads are working? What ads should I turn on? What ads should I turn off? First, check your dates. Always check that you're looking at this month's ads. And what should be happening is you may get 20 to 30% of your ads showing impressions. That is a good thing. And around half of that 20 to 30%, so 15% to 10 to 15%, I was doing some math here, are going to show clicks. So if you have 10 campaigns, you might only have one with a click. That is normal. That is what should be happening. 70 to 80% of your campaigns may have nothing happening at all. This is absolutely normal, not something to stress over. Have a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. This is an absolutely normal thing for me as well. I have a lot of my campaigns with no impressions or clicks. Some of these take a few days to turn on. This is a thing that happens, that we know happens with this strategy, so do not get too frustrated over it. And if you have less than 70% of activity, if you actually are with no activity, rather, if you're getting half of your ads have impressions, you're actually greater than normal. You are above average. So you should celebrate this. Going back a slide, the perseverance that gets you to month 2, month 5, month 6, month 8 is in not letting this kind of thing get to you. Now we've completed kind of some broad targeting methods with the category ads and a more specific targeting method with the keyword ads. Now we're going into the third main profitable ad type for low-cost bidding. There are other ads, but for low-cost bidding, these are the three. We're going for auto-targeted ads, also known as sponsored product auto-targeted ads, or SPAs. These ads use your book's metadata, your categories, which we went over in video 0, your title, your 7 KDP keywords to select the most relevant possible targets for your book. So they pick the targets for you, but it's based on your book's existing information. This is one of the reasons we had you boost up your categories in video 0. Yes, there was a method to the madness. During video 0, we did that so that that would be all set up for your auto-targeted ads. Now, there are other ad types. There's lock screen ads, there's sponsored product targeted ads, but these are the three ad types, the category, the keyword, and the auto, that are the most likely to earn you profit here in the early stages of your advertising. Also, sticking with the United States ads. Yes, we've had pushback on this, but sticking with these three ad types in the US give you your best chance of profit. If you don't care about profit, do whatever you want, I guess, but this is the profit challenge, not the lose a bunch of money challenge, which doesn't seem like it would be that popular. We want you to do things the easy way. And so whether you're running your first ad or your 100th, auto ads are very important because this is the closest thing Amazon has to basically a one-click ad. Auto ads use that information to make your targets so you don't have to choose them. Theoretically, this is going to put your book in front of the titles that are the most like yours on Amazon. Obviously, if your information is a little off, it's not going to be able to do that. I am going to get into what could potentially get in the way of your auto ads performing a little bit later today. In the previous video, you wrote your first attempt at a conflict-based hook for fiction or a problem-based hook for nonfiction, and this is the key to writing really strong, emotionally resonant copywriting. But just like when you are writing prose, a large portion of your copywriting is going to be rewriting. So today we are going to go into one of the key ways that we improve upon our hooks at my copywriting agency, Best Page Forward. This is going to help you and your subsequent ad writing. It's going to help those ads become more clickable. It's going to help you get more attention on them. It's going to help you with your book descriptions. Really, it should help you all across the board, and it'll be fun to go over this material with you. You too will learn the joys, as I have, as my team has, of saying more things in fewer words. Here Here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how Amazon uses your book's own info to create relevant auto targets. You're going to learn how to set these ads up for your ebooks or your paperbacks. And you're going to learn the first step in the editing process for your stellar ad copy and hooks. What are you going to need? You're going to need that internet browser. Very, very important. You're going to need a text document or a Google Drive file or whatever it is you want to type into. You're going to need thesaurus.com. This is a very important website for making sure you are testing out different words, more powerful words for your copy. And you're going to need enough time to watch today's video, as well as 45 to 60 minutes to complete the homework, possibly more. The 45 to 60 is average. We have a lot of folks saying, this took me all day, but I think some of those folks, maybe this is their first ever ad, which is amazing. How amazing is that? To be able to see all of you, the folks creating their 100th ad, and you who've created your first ad. If you've created your first ad this week, congratulations. It is a big, big achievement. Low-hanging fruit, what I mean by that is the ads that are going to be the easiest for you to create. Keyword, category ads. You need research. You don't for auto-targeted ads. You use your own book's information, which is hopefully very accurate to your book, to target as relevant comp titles that are like yours as possible. When you use those 2+ categories and you use your 7 KDP keywords, Amazon is going to send, or Amazon uses your 2 categories, your 7 keywords. Amazon sends your book out to titles like yours based on that information. This is why categories, keywords, title, subtitle all matter. Because if your book has the wrong information and it has information that is not relevant to your book, it's going to have a really hard time finding relevant readers for your book. Because if you have some weird and wacky keywords, some categories that don't really fit, it's going to be hard for Amazon to place your book. Now, if you can't remember what keywords or categories you chose, go check them out, go look them up, because that is going to be helpful if you see that your auto ads don't do anything after a couple of weeks. You can always change these over time. You can always tweak those categories, tweak those keywords. Author Central makes the category changing super easy, and the keyword changing, you can just do that on your bookshelf. Auto ads work really well for certain genres. Some genres have a difficulty making them serve. Big genres like contemporary romance, those can be tough. But certain genres work extremely well. Nonfiction books, children's books, books that have been written to market or trend, and very specific subgenre books can have big success with auto ads. You may have thought after the video number 0 prep work, there aren't enough categories for my book. It's too specific. That's why auto ads might be more helpful for your book, because it's easier to identify books that are relevant to a book that's particularly specific. If your genre tends to sell at least 50% in paperback, like nonfiction or children's books, it's also a good idea to run an auto ad for your ebook and your paperback. 2 separate ads. There's also a way to combine them into one, which I will talk about, but have an auto ad for your paperback if you tend to sell paperbacks. Auto ads are also really helpful if you have a large backlist, because you can create multi-book ads. We're not going to cover that in the homework, but I did want to share this with you because this can be really helpful for after the challenge. How do you create your auto ad? You pick a name that includes an acronym for your book. TVS, SPA, there's the A for auto. Hook, 35 being the bid. Pick a budget, $5 a day. duration, July 31st. And instead of manual, you are going to pick automatic. Then you're going to choose custom. Pick your book, custom for being able to put in your copy. You're going to pick that book and you're going to set your bid for the 30 cents for a standalone, 35 cents for a series starter. And then you're going to add your hook or your revised hook, which we'll talk about later today, and double check your bid. Always, always double check your bid. Click Create Campaign and you're all set. Now, I did want to point out, we had a couple people in the group. These are all sponsored product ads. That's what the SP stands for. So if you are stuck at the stage of the game between choosing sponsored products and lock screen, always choose sponsored product. Now, there are a few pitfalls with auto ads. Auto ads can have trouble getting out of the gates. They don't necessarily get started. You may need to keep the bid the same. We don't recommend increasing your bid, but you may be able to increase your budget to wake them up. That's what we do with ads that don't seem to be serving. There's more on this coming during Tuesday's scaling webinar. Auto ads are meant to target the most relevant books and search terms possible, but sometimes they're kind of like a Pandora station. If you've ever used Pandora, which generates the next song based on what you've said thumbs up to and thumbs down to. But if you let it go for a while, it's going to start playing something weird like techno, even if you put Mozart. That's kind of like auto ads. These can get off track by just getting the wrong targets a few times in a row. So if you want to make sure that your ad is doing well, kind of track it over time. And if it starts getting fewer clicks or if it starts not getting as many tracked sales, you might actually have an ad that is getting off track like a Pandora station. So keep an eye on those. Now, auto ads have four main targeting types: close, substitutions, complements, and loose. But if an ad can only find impressions and clicks with kind of some of these farther afoul targeting types that are only vaguely related to your book, sometimes they can start targeting irrelevant targets. So you may need to adjust your bids down a little bit if you tend to get a lot of clicks, but you're not seeing much traction, especially if your book is not profitable. Now, auto ads are going to target relevant books. So it's going to probably target your own books and your own name, but this is not a bad thing. You would rather have an ad in a space where someone is looking for you than someone else's ad be in there and take people away from you. I would rather fill up that space with my own ads than have it go to somebody else. In the old days, auto ads would run, you'd see clicks, and you'd have absolutely no idea which books got the clicks. I'm glad Amazon has changed that. That was kind of weird. Amazon did start adding those to a search term report, and you can actually download that so that you could see what got the clicks. And now you can see a list of the titles or the search terms that people searched when they clicked on your auto ads. So now you can see those. And a little bit later in the challenge, in the How to Scale Up Your Ads bonus webinar on Tuesday, July 21st, I'm going to show you how to use these targets as part of a long-term strategy. When it comes down to it, these are the sort of things you need to keep an eye on if you're going to scale up your ads. So are you automatically going to show us your screen? I see what you did there. That's pretty clever. Yes, of course, I will share my screen. Here we are on our KDP bookshelf. I just kind of wanted to show you a few of the things that Amazon will use in order to make your ads serve. So your auto ads serve. So if we go to Edit Book Details, you can do this if you have an ebook or a paperback. We're going to go down here and we're going to see our book title and our subtitle. These are two things Amazon will pull from. If you already have a locked-in subtitle for a paperback, you can't change it, but you can for an ebook. It's also going to pull in your series title. This is why I have superhero novel, young adult in my subtitle, and superhero in my series title, because that is going to get Amazon's attention that this is a superhero book. I also have my 7 KDP keywords, which I recently changed. Yes, I have superhero novel, young adult superhero, superhero YA, superhero books, superhero novels for teens, superhero fiction. I want to make sure this book gets out to as many superhero-related terms as possible, so I don't mind the repetition. Now, I have these categories here, but if we go to BookLink, we will be able to see what categories this is in. I believe I have some I still need to add this to, but if we go down here, we see that we are in several different categories here, multiple book categories, multiple Kindle categories, superhero fantasy, young adult superhero, superhero sci-fi, etc. This is the information Amazon uses to make our auto ads go, and that is the kind of information you'd see here, and you'd see in our deep within this page in the metadata. This is what we use. This is what Amazon is going to use to target your book. Now, to create, you're going to want to be in the advertising dashboard and click the Create Campaign button. You're going to pick Sponsored Products, click there, and then you're going to get your nice name in here. We'll go with TDS, SPA, we'll go with Hook. We're going to go with Revised Hook. I'll show you why in a second. 35. I don't have a portfolio for these, but you're welcome to use a portfolio. July 31st. Daily budget, $5. We're going to select auto targeting, so you don't need to change anything here. You don't need to change anything for dynamic bids down only. You don't need to change anything for custom text ad. Let's go with the Dark Souls. We're going to select the ebook here, right there. We're going to go down. Now, we don't need to change much. We're just going to change that to 35 cents. Double check that you changed it. Now, I will just show you. Here are some of those different targeting groups. You don't need to do anything here. Amazon's going to do it on its own. We're just going to set the same bid for all 4 of these at 35 cents. And then, hey, you put in your custom text and you are all set. So to remind you, you pick a sponsored product ad. You choose your name, choose your end date, choose your budget. Select automatic targeting. Keep it at dynamic bids down only, which is going to keep our bids low. Custom text ads so that we can use copy. Going to select our book, The Dark Souls. We're going to set our default bid at 30 or 35 cents. And then we will put in our creative. And then you'll be able to click Launch Campaign to make it go. We are all about helping you do more with less time. I have a kid. I know how life can be. As I mentioned earlier in the video, it is possible to put more than one book into an ad by using multi-book ads. Now, I don't recommend this during the challenge. It's probably something you should try, though, if you have success during the challenge. The reason I don't recommend this right now is because most of us are just doing one book for the challenge, so there's no need to mess around with stuff by having a multi-book ad. First, what you will do, instead of custom, you'll select standard, which means no copy. that is going to make something new pop up showing an ad group. If you've ever run Facebook ads, this is kind of like a Facebook ad set where your individual ads live. It's a little confusing, but you create the ad group and you just give it a name. Next, you're going to decide how many books you actually want to put in here. You can have as many books as you want in there, but you likely want to keep them relevant to one another and probably only go with standalones or series entry points. This is going to give you easier, cleaner data to work with later. Even if you have a series of standalones, I still recommend you start with book one or a box set. We recommend that if you do multi-book ads, name them properly and try them with auto-targeted ads first. That is what I would recommend. Now, when you do no copy, you might wonder, is that sloppy? Will an ad do worse if there's no copy? Because that's the only option with the multi-book ads, and it's actually the only option with all ads in the UK, Germany, and other international territories. There is some evidence that ads without copy perform just as well as ads with copy. But personally, I am not fully convinced. I have seen ads with copy do a little bit better, have a little bit more of the indicators of relevancy, like a stronger, higher click-through rate. But look, there's just so much power to running multiple books in the same ad. It's worth trying after the challenge. Feel free. Give this ad type a shot once you're finished testing out the copy ads, the ads with custom copy, on your book that you're using as a challenge experiment. How do you create those ads? You pick the name, TVS, SPA, multi, hook, 35. Pick a budget, duration, and automatic, 5 a day, July 31st. If you do it after the challenge, maybe you set August 30th. Choose standard instead of custom. Name your ad group and then pick your books. From there, set a bid, 30 to 35 cents, double check it, and then start your campaign. There's pros and cons to multi-book ads. It does take less time. You don't have to come up with copy because it's not even possible, and these ads tend to serve a little more quickly. A con, you may get lower relevancy. You may not. One book is usually going to take most of the impressions and clicks, and it does make your ads a little harder to track because you are going to have different books in that ad, and so you won't necessarily know just on one glance, did it come from this book? Did it come from that book? The reason I don't recommend doing it during the challenge is because when the challenge is over, you're going to want good data. So go with what you want. You can multi-book ad to your heart's content at the conclusion of the challenge. For now, keep things simple. One of the strongest, most difficult problems people have when they're writing copy is fitting it into the space of 149 characters. Raise your hand if you had trouble getting your copy to fit in the ad when you did it in the last video. I know that I have had that trouble from time to time. One of the simple tricks of the trade at Best Page Forward is to rephrase part of your hook to say the exact same thing, the exact same concept in fewer words. We refer to this as a trade down. You want to trade down 8 words to 6 to 5, etc. Now this is going to help you with a couple things. Not only is it going to help you get your words to fit in the space Amazon provides, but it also allows for more momentum and impact because similar to poetry, every word in your ads counts. So if you can do less of them, if you can have fewer of them, it's going to make a big difference. Now, in many cases, This is going to be an example of taking longer explanations and simplifying them. For instance, here's a before. 1,000-year battle between rival mages casting deadly spells on the innocent has led to a world where magic has been outlawed. You usually know that a sentence is too long if you need a couple of breaths during it. Reading these out loud is very helpful for what it's worth. After, a never-ending war has made magic an act of treason. Look, that cut out a ton of words. We actually lost 78 characters there. And it feels like a much stronger sentence because we focused on how can we simplify the concepts. It doesn't matter so much that rival mages are casting deadly spells on the innocent. Let's just keep things simple. We can save that information for the book. When you do make these trades, you can also add more meaning. You can add more nuance. You can put a little subliminal subtext in here. Maddie Winters has never been in a long-term relationship. Okay, it's a declarative sentence. It's not too long. But we are always, always, always looking for ways to trade down. After, Maddie Winters doesn't do commitment. That has so much more personality to it. It makes you connect with that character whether or not you like them, but it shows a lot more about the character in fewer words. We actually saved 21 characters there, but it paints a very, very interesting picture of our protagonist. So you can make something really strong in fewer words when you focus on trying to rephrase it in a way that adds a little panache, a little bit of spice to your words. Now, when we change terms like outlawed to treason, relationship to commitment, it can be as simple as bringing up thesaurus.com, plugging in a few words, seeing what we can improve upon. And we encourage our writers at BPF to constantly change out words and rephrase sentences for more impact. If you can't think of a way to shorten your hooks with the current words that you're using, changing out one or two words can make a huge difference, an epic difference, a momentous difference. I'm just changing words here. Sorry. Here are a few examples. She's the girl next door. He's always just out of reach. When violent weather sparks an unexpected attraction, has love's lightning finally struck? After, she's wholesome. He's always resisted. But when a storm sparks desire, will love strike twice? We lost a ton of words there. And we probably built in about the same amount of meaning. Before, she was wrongfully convicted. The cops want her back in jail. But this stone-cold victim has her sights set on payback. After, framed for murder, hunted by the law, ready to take her revenge. In a way, by bringing it to, the protagonist being female, saving that until the third sentence almost has more impact because a lot of revenge thrillers have a male protagonist. We add kind of a quick twist here at the end by showing that they're female, and we have stronger words. Want her back in jail or hunted by the law? Wrongfully convicted or framed for murder? This gives us a lot more to work with. He envisioned a land flowing with milk and honey. Instead, he found beer, fried chicken, and side-splitting culture shock. After, he dreamed of milk, honey, and home. Instead, he found a drunk and deep-fried way of life. Ending with the life gives us a lot more power than necessarily culture shock. Because culture shock is sort of a idiomatic phrase that not everyone's going to get right away. But we took envisioned and turned it to dreamed. We took beer and turned it to drunk. We turned fried and turned it to deep fried. We made tweaks that made it stronger, and we did it by cutting out words. We traded them down. Nonfiction examples. Want to make more space in your day to grow your enterprise? Learn the female-centric secrets to getting ahead and staying sane. Want to clear out your day for entrepreneurial growth? Learn how your female-led team can strive and thrive. Yes, we don't always do rhymes, but hey, they can really be fun sometimes, especially if we're going to convey that there's maybe a bit of humor to the tone, and we did it in fewer words. Hoping to transform yourself into the early bird that catches the worm? Discover the simple way to take control of your dawn and triumph over every challenge. Want to wake up before both the bird and the worm? Take charge of your morning with a simple, triumphant strategy. Way fewer words. I actually often look at the length of a line, compare it to the next one. Look, this whole your dawn and the triumph over every challenge, all that amount of space has been cut. And so by trading down our words, we have taken up a whole lot less space. Want to take back control of your paycheck from your clients? Discover a bulletproof method for building a risk-free freelance enterprise. Want to put the paycheck power back in your hands? Discover the plan to protect and forge your freelance empire. Enterprise turned to empire. Build turned to forge. We're going with these stronger words. We've cut down and we've rephrased in order to give a lot more oomph. Possible pitfalls with cutting down the words. If you trade down your words too much, like, oh, let's go from 8 to 6 to 3 to 1, you may lose or change the intent of the original hook. Now, you can be the judge of if it changes too much, but you don't want to make it nonsensical as a result of making those tweaks. When you've made edits, sometimes you will break the grammar. This happens from time to time. So just give everything a once-over or that all-important read aloud to make sure it still meets grammatical standards. Now, don't get stuck. There really is no reason to lock in the exact same sentence structure, same number of words. Give yourself free rein. Give yourself the freedom to try things, to tweak the order and the structure, because that is going to help you find something way better than what you originally had. Can you send me a copy of your own ads? No, but I will absolutely give you the next best thing. Just as a quick demo here, if you did want to do a multi-book ad after the challenge, you would change this setting from custom text ad to standard ad. You'll note that comes up with this create ad group. You can name it whatever group you want. Ad group of fun. Probably there's a better name for that. And then you'll notice you can actually add multiple books. See here that I've added the ebook and the paperback. For now, we are just going to stick with our custom text ad because we're actually writing some custom text here. So let's go to my hooks here. World's first superhero sensation may not live long enough to become a celebrity. This is already pretty short, but let's see if we can tweak this just a little bit. Paste this here. And let's make it a little bit bigger for all to see. So we are going to say the world's first superhero sensation may not live long enough. Celebrity isn't the strongest word here. So, and we want those big stakes. We want those death, love, or enlightenment stakes. I like the world's first superhero. The world's first superhero. I like something about like devious villain. A devious villain, but I kind of want to come back to that. Can he learn his powers soon enough to keep himself alive? All right, so this is obviously longer, and I don't fully love it. So we're going to have to keep working on this. The world's first superhero, that isn't really a trade down. A devious villain. Devious villain, I feel like, could be a little bit stronger. So instead of devious villain, we'll go over to thesaurus.com .com, put in devious, calculating, deceitful, fraudulent, sly, wily. I like where insidious is going. Sneaky, tricky, deceitful, false, cunning. Cunning is kind of interesting. Let's look at cunning. So you can keep following these words. Cunning, deep, slick, smart, cagey, crafty. I didn't mean to click there. Fancy footwork. Let's go to murderous, brutal, cruel, lethal, savage. Ooh, I really like savage. A savage villain. I want to make sure it's referring to the good guy. Can Ted learn his powers soon enough to keep himself alive? Can Ted master his abilities in time to save the world and his skin? That's only okay. I feel like it needs to move around a little bit. So let's look at alive. Alive. Awake, breathing. Breathing is interesting. Live, animate, be active, full of life, awake, rife, lively. So this is the kind of work you're going to do. Living, breathing, contemporary, current, ticking, warm. Ooh. I like the idea of the opposite of warm. So, can Ted master his powers before his life goes cold? That's interesting. It's still not perfect. We're not going to spend too much more live time in the video on this, but this is exactly the kind of work you need to do. You need to keep making tweaks, trying things, trading down. I'm sure 20 of you have better suggestions than I do for this right now, but you're going to keep working until you find a version that is going to work well for you. So I'm going to put this into this version. And I'm going to copy this in here. I'm going to scroll all the way down to my custom 35-cent bid. Plug this in here. Showed up really big, but that doesn't matter. And then we're going to launch our campaign. And if all goes well, we should see a little bit of info on that in just a day or two with Amazon approving the auto-targeted ad. It is time for research and creation, because you now know how to set up the 3 main profitable types of ads. You now know how to find an unlimited number of targets, categories, keywords, and the auto ones that Amazon chooses itself. This will help you find the right ones for your book. By using this mix of all 3 ad types, you're going to be able to get the data you need to see if your book can be profitable. Once you learn if you can spend ad money and get a positive return, hey, you put out $1, you're going to get $2, you can start to put more resources behind it. And this could lead to hundreds of dollars in additional royalties that you never would have seen otherwise. It's an amazing thing to be able to say, I'm going to put out $1 and get $2, or I'm going to put out $1 and get $1.10, because that is still profit. The stats are going to come next. I mentioned earlier, 70 to 80% of your ads probably won't do anything, which is normal. But for the 20 to 30% or more that are showing you impressions, clicks, and possibly even tracked sales, it'll be very helpful to know how to evaluate these statistics. So that is why it's going to be the next thing we cover here in the 5-day Amazon Ad Profit Challenge. As a reminder, all of your accurate sales related stats are going to be found on the KDP Beta dashboard. That's where your royalties show up. And your sales rank is going to show up on Author Central. Got some homework for you today. Video number 2, create one sponsored product auto targeted ad. 30-cent bid for a standalone, 35 cents for a series starter, or a ebook for, I don't know why I have or standalone, or box set is probably what I meant. For the ebook edition of your book with an end date of July 31st, if you only have a paperback, feel free to use a paperback. Use a $5 budget and use your hook from video number 1, something you already have, as the custom copy. Share your screenshot of the ad in the July Facebook group with the hashtag JulyVid2. And hey, add some kind words or 3 to another author's post. Video 2, extra credit 1. You're going to edit your hook using the steps from today's video and create 3 different versions of the hook. You're going to choose your favorite of the 3 to create one more sponsored product auto-targeted ad for the paperback edition of your book. So a new hook, and you're going to use it on the paperback edition. Do that 30 to 35 cent bid, $5 budget, end date of July 31st. Share a screenshot of the ad in the challenge Facebook group, and hey, you can share those 3 pieces of copy as well with the hashtag JulyVid2EC1. And I didn't mention there, I don't know why. Make sure to leave a comment on another author's post as well. Video number 2, EC2. Brainstorm on how you might use multi-book ads after the challenge to take advantage of this interesting feature. Reflect on the ads you've created so far. How has your understanding changed about setting these up in the first place? It's really helpful to mark kind of where you're at now compared to where you were just a few days ago. I'd like you to share your thoughts. This is like a little short answer. Share your thoughts in a new post. Yes, in a new post, not in a comment of another post, in the Facebook group with the hashtag JulyVid2EC2. And then make sure, hey, give it a little virtual fist bump to at least one other post in the group. That is very important because a lot of posts don't get seen. So you want to go through, try to find a post that has not yet gotten a comment. We don't want anyone to feel as though they have been left out of the fun. Here's what's coming up next in the 5-day challenge. We've got our ads going. It's time to understand what they're doing and why, even if they still seem to be a little bit asleep. We're going to get a feel for all of the stats and the figures to set us up to understand our most important ad concept, profit, which we'll actually go into in video number 4. So please remember, post your homework in the Facebook group. I will be there on the Facebook group, Facebook Live, 3 p.m. Eastern today, if you're watching this day and date. So thanks again for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful time creating ads, and I look forward to seeing you over the next few days.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, you can post your homework in the Facebook group, and I will be there for a special announcement at 3 p.m. Eastern for today's Facebook Live. I hope you're having fun. I know this is a time commitment, and I really do appreciate every minute and hour you put into this. I hope to make it well worth it for you. So have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you in the group, and I will see you for the next video. Have a wonderful day.